All right, good morning. So we have a new addition. So let me tell you about her a little bit. This is Kuan Yin. She is the East Asian deity of mercy and compassion and love. So she is a bodhisattva. And so what can I tell you about this that's important for us? So Kuan Yin hears the cries of the world and responds with love and mercy and compassion. So that could only be a good thing, right? I think so. I think so. So, you know, Buddha came 500 years or so historically before Jesus, and Buddha brought this idea of the law and an inner code of the Eightfold Path. And they called this Little Boat Buddhism because it was about someone practicing Buddhism and they could get free. They could get to nirvana by practicing Buddhism. But it was all about an individual path. Now, what happens 500 years later after Jesus is on earth with a message of God's love is ever present, God's love is fully present here and available for you now, and you don't have to die to get there, is that Buddhism makes a shift. And it goes from little boat Buddhism to big boat Buddhism. And there start to be individuals in Buddhism who have achieved enlightenment, but they don't choose to go to nirvana yet because they want all beings to be in the boat. So the vow of the bodhisattva is that they will continue to reincarnate and reincarnate and reincarnate out of from a place of love and compassion until all beings get raised up and all beings get free. So I think this is a wonderful idea, and this is what she's here to remind us of. So we'll see how we do. We'll see how we do with love and mercy and compassion, and if we don't do so well, she'll probably go somewhere else. Just, you know how it is, you know how it is. And then we'll invite her back again and see how we do that time. So, but I have very high hopes. I have very high hopes. So there was a man who was stopped by the police at 2:30 or so in the morning, and the policeman comes up to the window and he says, you know, license and registration, please. And he looks at the guy's license and registration and he says, so, where are you going so fast at 2:30 in the morning? And the man says, well, I'm on my way to a lecture about alcoholism and how bad alcohol is for your body. And I'm on my way to a lecture about gambling and how bad gambling is for you, and smoking and how bad smoking is for you, and staying out late and how bad that is for you. And the officer says, really? Wow. Who is giving this lecture at this late hour? And the man says, that would be my wife, sir. Oh, come on, it's cute. It's cute. It's clean. Okay. Compassion, mercy. All right, so you know, we talk a lot about transformation here. In fact, it's what we talk about all the time. And you know, for us, transformation really, in the way we view the science of mind, it's not about changing external conditions in our life. You know, it's not about the change of external affairs. That's not really what interests us. The work, the focus is on doing, really what we're after is about us becoming more. And so, as Ernest Holmes indicated, we are always becoming more and never less than our true self, which I think is an extraordinary idea, that we are all in the process. There's this process of divine unfoldment is taking place, that we are becoming more and more of our true self, never less. So as I consider this today, I think that real transformation is about uncovering and discovering and recovering your true self, our real nature and being, and allowing that to be what comes forward into expression in our life. So, you know, we're always in the process, I think, of this divine unfoldment. It never stops, becoming more and more and more us. Right? Not becoming more of something else, becoming more of who we truly are. So I think, you know, if we look at our life, we would say, oh God, we all have so many things that we would like to see improvement in. You know, we'd like some things in our life to change, our business to do better, our relationships to be more loving, our body to be different. But consider this, you are allowing the more of you to be uncovered, discovered, and recovered and expressed. This is what you're really, really after. It looks like it's about your body. It looks like it's about your health or your relationship. It's actually you becoming more you. And this has everything to do, I think, with what we identify ourselves with. So if I identify myself with this idea that I am one with God, that I am one with Spirit, that I am one with infinite loving intelligence, that's a really powerful thing, because that's not about adding something to you, because really, in truth, you cannot add anything to you. In the scriptures it says, you know, who of you by taking thought can add 1 cubit to your life? In other words, nobody, right? That we are letting go, we are releasing the blocks, the barriers, the false beliefs, the doubts, the fears, all of those hindrances that prevent us from being fully us. So once you have an understanding of the spiritual principles, the universal principles of spiritual truth that we espouse here in the Science of Mind, everything else is basically, what do I need to let go of in order to reveal more God? You know, because at some point, once you've got the principles, there's nothing to add to that. You will have the principles don't change. They're thousands of years old. They've been around forever in every tradition, right? So what is it that's like keeping us from a greater expression is what is in us that we individually have to start to let go of. So life and love and joy and abundance and creative fulfillment, we believe, are already within us. We were created that way. Nothing lacking, nothing broken, nothing missing. And it's just waiting to come forth, but we all have inner obstacles. And those obstacles are false beliefs. They're doubts about ourselves. They're the barriers that have prevented us. So that's why spiritual growth really, really, at some level, when you hit your stride, if you stay on a path of spiritual growth, what it becomes about, honest to God, is about letting go. Letting go of false beliefs, letting go of errors, letting go of beliefs that we are separate, that we're not much, that we're not good enough, that somehow we're damaged goods in the world. Letting go of false ideas that we have about God. You know, that we have to let go of anything that prevents us from being who we truly are. Sound good? Yes. All right, well, I'm going to tell you how. I'm so glad it sounds good to you, because otherwise I'd just be talking to myself again. So, you know, because people often ask, they'll say, well, which is it? Are we creating our own reality, or are we letting go or letting God? And it's like, yes, it is. It's both, you know. It's we let go and let God so that that which already is, you know, can be realized and expressed. So, you know, I love Emmett Fox. Emmett Fox was one of the great metaphysical teachers. He will be familiar to many people because you've read the Sermon on the Mount. And Emmett Fox says, it's the food that we furnish our minds with. The food that we furnish our minds with. Oh my God, I've been going about this all wrong. That determines the whole character of our life. And so really, this is about what you dwell on, you become. That's a spiritual principle. What you focus on increases. What you dwell on, that's what you become. And so Emmett Fox says that what I am talking about today, he says, is a simple and direct method of psychological and spiritual regeneration. And that when he wrote this idea out in the 30s, in the 1930s, he said that very quickly, large numbers of people were having healing from following this. So I say it's a way to let go and allow more God to be God by means of you. You know, we are a culture that's obsessed with diets, aren't we? You could read about a new kind of diet every day. And so Emmett Fox offers this concept of a mental diet that he says is just going to do more for you than any physical diet could possibly do. Why? Because it's going to change you from the inside out. You know, everybody so far has had a diet of something. We're talking about a mental diet of something, right? Because the present condition of every phase of your life is shaped by the thoughts and the feelings that you and I, that we have entertained in the past right up until now, right up until this very present moment. And so Ernest Holmes, the founder of our church, said, don't be worried about the occasional stray, crazy thought. That's not what you have to worry about. He says it's the general tendency of your thinking. The general tendency of your thinking, where your mind goes again and again and again. And if you have those places where your mind goes again and again and again, you probably back it up with some really good feeling, don't you? Actually, some really bad feeling. But there's a lot of energy there, a lot of emotion. So this means that our future will be shaped by the thoughts and feelings that we entertain from now on. The thoughts and feelings that we entertain from now on. So in mental science, part of science of mind is mental science, part of it is spiritual science. In the mental science aspect, thought is the causative force in our life. So you can't have one kind of mind and another kind of experience in life. It just doesn't work that way. To have a different experience, you have to have a different mind. Can you change your mind without your environment changing too? No, absolutely not. Because, if you put something new in consistently, you're going to start to get something new out. So change your mind and everything changes. Your body changes, your finance changes, your relationships change, your career changes. St. Paul said, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, not the re-olding of your mind. The renewing of your mind. And we do this crazy thing where we keep thinking what we've always thought and thinking we're going to get something better, newer, different. And it just doesn't happen. I think, well, I'll just think my old thoughts harder. Maybe that's the problem. I haven't been doing it hard enough. No, that just doesn't work. Now, I get it. The practical difficulty is our thoughts are so close to us. They're such a part of us that without practice, it's really difficult, to stand back and look at them objectively. But we have to. We have to choose the subject, and we have to choose the emotional tone, the mood. Because, really, this is what it comes down to, is that we cannot be healthy or happy with a bad disposition. And we all know those people who have a really lousy disposition, and they say they want to be healthy and they want to be happy. And that if they were healthy and they were happy, they'd have a better disposition. And that's just the opposite of how it works. That if you have a better disposition, you'll get healthier and you'll get happier. All right? Because the principle is that no good comes out of negativity. You can't negative enough in life to get healthy. You can't negative enough in life for you to become an attractive place in the universe, for people to want to be with you or love you or for opportunity to come. No good comes from negativity, right? So you choose the subject and you choose the tone. How? All right, so it's based on spiritual truth. This is not something that I'm making up. It's based on spiritual truth. And so what's that spiritual truth? My life is good because my life is one with the life of God. Right? That's a spiritual truth for us here in the science of mind. My life is good because my life is one with the life of God. We'll break it down. Say this after me. My life is good because my life is one with the life of God. See, because there is a realm in spiritual practice where God is the good to which there is no opposite. Now, obviously, there is a level that we all understand where there is opposites, where there's duality. There's good and bad, and there's lack, and there's abundance, and there's health, and there's sickness. But that's a level of duality. At a higher spiritual level, the level of truth, God is the good to which there is no opposite. So I'm going to ask us today, just like I asked us last week to do an act of kindness. You can tell me about it later. And see, that was the motivating force, because Kuan Yin was not in my radar at all until I talked about the act of kindness. And then after the act of kindness, she said, boom, bless you. Anything for a blessing, I know. And then after I talked about kindness, Kuan Yin showed up in my awareness. And it's like, oh, she's coming to live with us. I get it, all right? So now I'm going to ask all of us to devote a week to create a new habit of thought. And to say for yourself, this is an investment I'm making in me. This is my priority this week. If you do it, I promise you, it will be a turning point for you. Your life will change for the better. Now, you don't have to worry about trying to change any of the conditions. You do this, and the conditions will change. And so do this with me for 1 week. Do not allow yourself to dwell for a moment on any kind of negative. No failure, no disappointment, no trouble, criticism, jealousy, condemnation, sickness, any limitation. No. You catch yourself and you just self-correct. Be positive, be optimistic, be constructive, be kind. All right? Do this for 1 week, and it will alter everything for the better. because in a week you can start to really create a new groove in consciousness for yourself. If you lapse, just stop and say, okay, that was my first attempt at bat, and now I'm going to get up again. I'm going to start again for a week. See, I think I can be positive. You can be positive and constructive and life-affirming for 1 week, certainly. We've done other things that were much more difficult, much more unpleasant than that. You see, and if it's not it's not just a thought that comes in that matters, right? Because, we will have thoughts that are not of the highest order. Everybody does. It's the dwelling upon it, right? Because, you're still going to live in the world, and the news is going to be on, and you're going to see headlines, and people are going to be around you, and they're going to say stuff, So all of that, none of that has to change. None of that has to change. I wouldn't encourage you to go into it even deeper, but none of it has to change. All of that is the opportunity to be disciplined yourself. So if you're with somebody and they're particularly negative or down or talking poor mouth and lack, you can just put like a little white light of divine protection around yourself, and say, nothing unlike God's good comes to me, or you could say a little prayer for that person to help lift them up. Imagine it like this. If you were sitting by a fireplace, fire pit, bonfire, I don't care, it doesn't matter, campfire, it's roaring. It's mesmerizing in that way fire can be, and a spark jumps out at you and lands on your sleeve. If you just flick it off right away, you just instant reflex, flick it right off, immediately, no damage done, right? No damage done. But if you let it linger, why did this spark choose me? What is God trying to tell me? How did I draw this to me? Did I create this? Forget about it, right? Just cancel. You say, my life is good because my life is one with the life of God, right? Someone's talking negatively, you don't have to go into a big hole, whoop-de-doo. My life is good because my life is one with the life of God, and I love them and I bless them, right? See, when people hear other people, you read something, you just tell yourself, I don't accept this as the truth for me. I don't accept this. I don't take it in. See, this is it. It's about your mental consent that constitutes your diet, right? It's what you allow in again and again and again. So yes, for 1 week, if you can, I would say avoid those people who really get on your nerves. If you could, for just a week, you don't have to tell them why you're not meeting them this week. You don't say, I'm doing a mental diet at church and the minister suggested I stay away from you. But you have to be strong here. This is for you. You're making an investment in your consciousness. So in this process, you will be letting go again and again. And here's the thing I started with about letting go. That spiritual growth really is about letting go. So we let go and a space is created. There's an opening. And spirit rushes in to fill the opening because, the universe hates a vacuum. Right? So spirit rushes in to fill the vacuum that we've created by letting go. What we were holding on to was taking up space, and now we've let go. There's more space available, and more of the real you is able to come forward to fill it and bless your life and the world around you. Let's pray. So we turn our attention inward for a moment to just recognize that we are surrounded and filled with the love of God. The very Spirit of the living God is right here. It's the truth about each and every one of us. And so I speak this word for us that we are willing to let go of what does not serve us. Any thought, belief, idea, habit, pattern, if it does not serve us, we recognize it and we just let it go. Again and again and again. We let it go so that that Spirit of the living God within us might rise up and expand and express and fulfill us in new ways. We are absolutely willing for this. And so we include in our prayer today our family members and friends and loved ones wherever they are. We know that God is right there, fully present, revealing peace and healing and love and all needs met. We let our prayer be a blessing in the world around us. So all of those things that have pulled at our attention and He made us fearful or doubting. We say the perfect activity of the one life and the one love that is God is right there, working through all people, through all minds and all hearts, blessing, uplifting, healing, restoring, and renewing. We bless our church. We bless all churches. We bless synagogues and temples and mosques and ashrams, all paths to God. And I know that by being together today, we all get raised up, that we are all blessed, that our faith is increased, that our hearts are opened, and we have indeed let go of something that does not serve us anymore. And so with a grateful heart, I give thanks, I release this word. I know it's done, and so it is. Together we all say, Amen.